Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. I am doing a DIY today. It is of a side table. I found this side table at Goodwill for $20. Just a simple wooden side table, and I originally bought it for my in-laws to redo. I kept it for a while because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it, but then I figured out what I wanted to do with it. So my in-laws currently have it. They've decided to keep it. I was going to sell it if they didn't like it, but it turned out super cute in their living room, which will be another video. It will be a room design, my first room design on the YouTube channel. I was super excited about that. But this side table is just a little sneak peek of what I did in their room. For this table, I decided to keep it super simple, nothing too crazy, so without further ado, here we go. So I started by sanding down the piece of furniture to help with the paint sticking. When you sand a piece of furniture, you want to start with a higher grit, which is a finer sandpaper, and go to a lower grit, which is more coarse. If you start with a lower grit, it will tear your wood. So definitely make sure you start with a higher grit when you sand things down. And this also really does help with the paint sticking to the piece of furniture. Okay, so today I'm going to be painting this side table, and I wanted to show you a few things that we will need for this project. So of course I've got my paint brushes, and then I've got the paint color. I'm using the Dixie Belle brand chalk paint, and this color is called Fluff. So it's a little bit of an off-white, kind of a grayish tone to it. And then for the top, I'm going to stain the top, and the rest will be painted the white. For the top, I'm doing a wood stain in Jacobean, I think is how it's pronounced. This is the stain. It's kind of dark. I prefer a lighter, but I think I'm going to try the dark with the lighter paint. And then I got this Paintable Solutions. It's a wall covering. I figured I would cut it and to the size of the front of the drawer and glue it onto here and then paint over it so that the color matches the rest of the side table. I think that's going to be really cool. Then I got a few other things like Mod Podge. Hopefully this works to stick this wall paintable solution thing to it, and then of course a polyurethane to protect the furniture. So I've already sanded it down. It just had a darker, I guess it was a little bit of a stain, but it was mostly polyurethane left on it. So it is all stained down. It's not perfect, but it's enough to have the paint stick to it. Since I am staining the top of the side table and painting the bottom portion of it, I am taping off the top just so I don't get paint on the top. And if you're really good at painting, I guess you don't need to tape it off, but I didn't want to have to go back and fix the mistakes that I made, so I just ended up taping it off. For this project, I chose to do chalk paint. I've worked with it before, and it's really nice to give a flat finish to a piece of furniture. I just decided to do a plain white since I'm going to be staining the top of it really dark. So it ended up going on pretty smoothly. I just used a regular paintbrush. I didn't put a finish on the paint when I was done because chalk paint does typically end up standing out pretty well. And then I also didn't want to distress this table because I didn't really want to give it that farmhouse feel. But it did turn out really well with this paint, and the contrast between the dark and the light really did turn out great. tackle the front of this drawer with this paper. And I also thought it'd be cool, since the back of the cabinet obviously isn't finished, because I mean it's just normally the backs of furnitures aren't finished, and I wasn't planning on painting it, but I thought it'd be really cool to put this on the back of the cabinet as well. So I'm just gonna cut. Oh, I need scissors. Look how pretty this paper is. It's so pretty. Okay, now I'm going to place this. So I'm going to place the face of the cabinet down on the back side of this paper so that when it's cut you don't see any pencil marks. I'm going to make a pencil mark. I'm just going to trace around this, and also look at where your pattern is, because you would probably want the prettiest part of the pattern on the door front. So I'm just going to trace around here. And the other side of this cabinet is on the edge of the paper, so I don't have to trace that side. And then I'm gonna cut it out. To stick the paper on the drawer, I used Mod Podge and just put it on the front of the drawer to stick the piece of paper on. And once you get it on there, it is a little easy to move, so you can move it around a little bit, but it does dry pretty fast. Okay, I do want to let y'all know that I've never done this before, so I don't know how well this works. So if anybody has another way, or they've seen another way of doing it, then let me know. But there is a little bit of a hangover, so I'm going to get my exacto knife to cut off the excess paper. paper. There's a little bit of bubble right here, but I think that will go away once the glue dries. But so far, so good. I probably waited for about an hour for the glue to dry, so then I did one coat of the white paint that I painted the rest of the side table with over the piece of paper, and it really did cover well, and it really did stick well to the piece of paper. I ended up doing 2 coats of the white paint on the front of the drawer, as along with the rest of the piece of furniture. I ended up doing 2 or 3 coats, maybe the 3rd coat was just touch-ups and stuff, but it really did end up turning out well with the piece of paper on the front of the drawer. Okay, I just finished the 2nd coat. I think I'm gonna have to do 3 coats, but hey, that's fine. And I definitely probably needed to wait longer between coats because the 2nd coat didn't go on as smoothly as the 1st coat, but it's okay. But I wanted to share with you guys a pro tip since I'm not done painting, and I will be using the same paintbrush. You just wet some paper towels, you then wrap your paintbrush in the wet or damp paper towels, and then you put that into a plastic baggie, and then you put that into the refrigerator, and then it actually holds for a long time. I've actually done it to where I've left it in there for a few days and it didn't dry out. So pro tip for you guys that don't want to wash your paintbrush after every coat. Just put it in a damp towel and then place that in a plastic baggie and then place that in the refrigerator. I decided to put the paper on the back of the side table as well. I ended up just cutting a big piece that I knew was bigger than the back, and then I painted on the Mod Podge and I stuck that piece onto the back, and once it dried a little bit, I used my exacto knife to cut it out, which you will see in the next clip. It was really easy, and again, it stuck really well and painted over it really well. Really impatient with the drying, so I decided to cut it before it was completely dry. I do recommend letting it dry completely before you cut, because I did get a few tears when I was using my exacto knife on it just because the glue was not dry yet. So definitely let the piece dry before you start cutting. Staining the top was pretty easy. I used Jacobean, which is a pretty dark stain on the top. I took the tape off and then retaped the bottom part so that I wouldn't get stain on the paint. It was really easy. Make sure you go with the grain with stain is what I've heard. I don't really know why. I guess it fills in better. You don't see like the different stroke marks. So definitely go with the grain when you do any stain. and I only ended up doing one coat. I think you can do more if you want it darker. It is buildable, but one coat was perfect. I waited about 24 hours for the stain to really dry, and once you do put the stain on, you definitely want to take a dry rag or something to wipe the excess stain off, just so it doesn't have that extra stain on there. But once it's completely dry, you normally wait about 24 hours for a water-based finish. I did put a water-based polyurethane and a matte finish on the top. And I did 2 coats of that just to give it a great protection. It does look like it's going on white, but it does dry clear, so don't worry about that. I also went around with a small brush and did touch-ups around the edges, and anywhere that where the stain had gotten, I did touch that up a little bit. So definitely keep your paint until I had 2 different knob choices that I liked. They had the same finish on them. It was like a brushed bronze on them, and I thought it went really well with the dark top and the light bottom. So one was more of a knob and one was more of a pull, and I ended up liking the pull better with it. I think it looked better and it covered the front of the drawer a little better, so I really did like the finish on that.
Trouble, you best beware. And though deep down I know I might be headed for teardrops, now that you got me started, I just can't stop. No, no. 'Cause I love you, baby. I can't let you go, baby. I gotta tell you that I've been looking for love so true. When I was down and out, along came you. Though you might be a liar and a cheat too, I just can't quit you now 'cause I love you. Yes, I do. I can't let you go, baby.
I thought the side table turned out super cute. You did get a sneak peek of, I mean, barely anything, but a little bit of what the living room design looked like that I was talking about prior. So it really does look good in the space. The paper that I used on the drawer in the back of the side table was something I've never done before, so that was new. And also the stain, I've never used that stain before, so it turned out great. I really love the way it looked, and it really does look good in the room that it's in. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe below, give me a thumbs up, and comment with any questions you have. Also, look down in the description box for details on where I got certain things and what I recommend if you are redoing a side table as well. Bye, guys.